This is an example problem for section 12. The data relied on in this example problem is from 538.com, a database provided by Nate Silver, a statistician often involved in political forecasting. In this particular example problem, we'll be looking at whether the region a voter lives in affects the statistical likelihood of supporting the Conservative Party in England, broken down into three sections: North England, Middle England, and South England. Now, to do this statistical test, we will be performing an ANOVA test with a 95% certainty, consisting of 24 districts, and as I stated earlier, Northern, Middle England, and Southern England, so that will be 8 districts for each one of them. Now, for the hypotheses. Firstly, there's the possibility that at 0.05 level of significance, there is sufficient evidence to suggest a difference between at least one of the regions. Now, your null hypothesis, at 0.05 level of significance, there is not sufficient evidence to suggest a difference between any of the regions. Now, before us is the data table with the 8 sections from Northern England, Middle England, and Southern England. Also represented in front of us is our n variable and k variable, and that can be solved for directly there. We have 8 pieces of data with 3 lists, giving us 24 and 3 respectively. Now, as this refers to the TI-89, the n column will be put into our stat list function for list 1, the m column will be put into our stat list function for list 2, and the s column will be put into the stat list function for list 3. Now, within the stat list application, if we go to F5 and then hit 2 followed by 4, we will find ourselves in the inverse f function, where we will be prompted for the area, which we can enter as 0.95 given our confidence or our confidence level, and then our numDF, which we can give as 3 minus 1, and our next df we can give as 24 minus 2. And once we enter the information, we can go ahead and enter that into the calculator, and we get the output value of 3.87. Now, to continue the statistical test, we can run a varstats function in F4, also on the TI-89, to get our respective values for standard deviation and mean for each of the individual columns. Now, to actually run the ANOVA test. So firstly, we are going to go to F6 and select C to run a ANOVA test within the TI-89 application. Prompted, you should see data and the number of groups is 3. If that's not the case, now would be the time to adjust that to be so. Similarly, we should now be at the list 1, list 2, list 3 step in the analysis of variance, and that value should reflect list 1, list 2, list 3, which can then be followed up by pressing enter. And now, after doing that, we should get our f value as well as our p value. And then if you plot that, you'll see that the relationship between the f value and the p value is that, which is to say that within a 95% certainty, there is sufficient evidence to suggest a difference in at least one of the 3 regions.